Mm-hmm. Right. I think we're done. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay, let me get the stream back up. Where are we now? Good evening, Rich. Ryan's bullying you. Ryan's bullying everyone lately. Ryan is becoming a bully. It's the power. He's been admin for a while now. It's the power. It's getting to him. We all have it. We'll get like this when we first start it. Right. Anyway, welcome. Good evening. Welcome everybody. Good evening, Josh. Good evening, Sean. Do I need a hug? No. But Rich sounds like he could do with them. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to WAOF1 Tuesday Division. We are here for round 6 of the season, and we are at one of the absolute greatest tracks of the season in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. A track that, unfortunately, we're not going to see in real life this year. Big shout out to you. Can you hear the fan? I've literally just got a new one that I've put here, so I wasn't sure if it would be like that. That's right. I can turn it around a bit so it's not, hopefully not getting on the mic. Right, okay, what was I going to do? I need to just quickly, if I can do it before the timer runs out, nip into audio and turn the mastering volume down, otherwise you will all be deafened when I go on board with anyone. So, there we go. That should be better. Right, okay, good night, Dad. Dad is off to Begsy, not feeling very well, so, since his accident. No more fighting with fences with father. So we then are heading into short qualifying. So just to confirm, it is a sprint event this evening. So it will be short qualifying sprint race. Then they will come out of the lobby. There will be a wheel spin, and whatever the wheel lands on between 1 and 22, as it is a full lobby tonight, between 1 and 22, a grid from the final result of the sprint will be reversed from whatever number that lands on. So if it lands on 9, then the person that finished the sprint in 9th will start on pole. The person who finished 8th will start 2nd, 7th, 3rd, etc, etc. Unfortunately, the unlucky ones are the ones that finish below whatever it lands on, and they will start from the position they finished in the sprint. We decided to do it that way this year. I'll just explain quickly why we're doing it like that. We did it last year. We reversed the top 10. What we found were drivers, if they weren't doing so well, deliberately trying to finish 10th or 9th or 8th or whatever. So to get around that, we've made it a random wheel spin instead. Basically because the drivers were naughty, especially Admiral. Admiral was very naughty. He was really bad for doing it. And Ryan, actually. Admiral and Ryan were just naughty all the time, basically. So it's their fault. It is their fault. So if you don't like it, blame them. If you missed the names, that is Admiral and Ryan. Blame them. Right, who is that white car? I don't know if it's a Haas or a Cadillac. We'll find out when we get onto it eventually. It's a Cadillac. It's the Cadillac of Ryanair, who, going by the practice, looks like he's probably the favourite for pole tonight. Obviously, that's only the people that were in the practice session. I can't comment about the people that weren't, because I don't know what times they're doing. But in the practice session, he was fastest. So Actually, in the last session, James picked him at the post. It looks like it's going to be a pole position battle between James and Ryan. But no doubt somebody else will put their name into the hat at some stage. Ozers is live streaming. There you go, guys. If you'd rather watch Ozers stream than listen to me talk rubbish throughout the whole thing, feel free. So, Ryan, awesome track. I love this track. I when it first came in the game some years ago now, I think everybody was skeptical. We all jumped on TT. We thought, this is awesome for TT, but it's going to be a nightmare for racing. How wrong we were. It's been one of the absolute best tracks for racing since it joined the game, in my opinion, but it just throws up an absolute cracker of a race nearly every time we come here, so I'm looking forward to both races tonight. It doesn't throw up much in terms of strategy. The strategy is pretty obvious. It is medium hard or soft hard. Medium probably the preferred choice, but qualify a little bit out of position, something like that, you might opt to throw the softs on to try and get a few places off the start. So our first little look through sets of one. I'm just going to send a quick invite to Watson a second. He's just dropped out. So there we go. Is that a profanity, Brian? Have you just done a profanity on my stream? That's a 5-second penalty for you for the race. It's not all those tracks in one big stretch. This is an awesome track. So looking to me like Ryan is really backed out of this lap. We'll see the lap through though, because I'm not 100% sure. Although he's just burned his battery down, so perhaps not. Perhaps this is why he was quickest in practice, because he knows what he's doing with the battery a bit better than others. So I'll power then to the line. And Ryan's going to get us started with a very decent 1:29.7 on his first run. That is very good indeed. Early in the lap. There's going to be a few crossing the line here, guys. I'm not going to be able to catch all of them. 29.9 from Whale. Fatty 30.6, 30.4 from Gregory. Gregory, the newest sorry, excuse me, the newest member of our stewarding team. And doing a very fine job so far from what I've seen. 32.1 from Kev that we were on with. Gunnar 30.0. Who else is out there? James is out there. Somebody else jumped up as well. Chris 30.0. Rich goes fastest, 29.6. Ozers 30.6. Gaza 31.0, but on the mediums. Could be clever that from Gaza. It might just be doing it as a bit of practice at the start of the session, but I'm also thinking he's maybe getting one lap in on the mediums so you can keep a set of softs back. Doesn't need to do that though, because there will be a lobby reset after the sprint. Oh, who's that? Someone's crashed. It's a Merc. And it's Falcao. Completely rounding into the wall. That's quite an unusual place to end up spun. Careful, Falcao, there's cars coming round. No! He's alright, he's safe. Oh, I thought for a moment we were going to have a crash then. Anyway, back to James, who's just heading down to the final corner. Belgium, Vegas, Monza, Silverstone, Monza, Jeddah, Silverstone, Monaco. Bogey track after bogey track. To be fair, Brian, that sounds like half the calendar is your bogey tracks. So, as in the whole calendar, the full calendar, the, you know, every single track, it sounds like half of them are bogey tracks for you. So it sounds like it's inevitable that that's going to happen at some stage for you, mate. I'll be honest. I don't know why Monaco's coming up again. Why they didn't learn not to put that on the calendar from last year, I don't know. Karma out the final corner, gets the boost on, opens the DRS and straight To the line with a 1:30.8 goes P12 for the moment. Josh over the line. Oh no, just starting a lap actually, so let's stay with Josh. Oh dear, Rich was about to retire. Don't do that, drivers. Short quality, remember, not full. So Rich currently fastest by 16 thousandths over Admiral at the moment, who's jumped up to P2. I missed that one, sorry Admiral. This left-hander already very low on battery. I think that would be slightly worrying for him. Should be up around sort of 70% at this point of the lap, not 25. Starts getting a little bit back now from super clipping. Boost out of the second chicane. And heads to the line. What can Josh do on his first run? 1:30.9. That's not that bad when you consider how low he was on battery so early in the lap. He's not done too bad there, in my opinion. As Watson rejoins us. Just to get out on track. There's Watson. So Brian currently on a lap. James is on an out lap. Godzilla still sat in the pits. Beastie's on a lap. Falco on an out lap. Those are the drivers yet to set a lap. Brian's going to get a handy little tow here. Crosses the line to a 29.9. You know, on my screen it looked like he crossed the line on 27.9. James then, what can he do as he heads into the difficult part of the first sector? Beastie, by the way, didn't get a proper lap on the board. He's 38.8, so that's obviously not a representative of what he can do. James heading down to this, only way I can describe this corner, a lingering left-hander. It is a hairpin. It doesn't feel like a proper hairpin when you're taking it though. Kind of a soft hairpin is the best way I can describe it. It's not a hard hairpin where you have to turn quite sharply like at likes of Canada, for example. Really hear the lifting going into the corners to try and get a bit of battery back for this long last straight. He's catching up to his teammate here. No tow. Josh just keeps himself well out of the way. And boost to the line for James. Is he going to go fastest? It's 29.1. Wow, okay, that's faster than anything we saw in practice. So that it may well be pole. Let's go down to Falco. So we saw him crashed on his first run. On the first of the chicanes, but he's obviously made it through there now, and it's a 1:30.4 from Falco. Goes P12. He'll definitely fully go faster than that without a shadow of a doubt, Falco. So I think that lap was mostly about getting a lap on the board, and we'll probably see him really go for it on his next run. Watson here on an out lap, but we'll stick with him as give us the opportunity to see a full lap from Watson. Actually on the back foot slightly, having disconnected, isn't going to be able to get the free runs in, but should comfortably get two in. He's a good enough driver that he should be able to get himself in a decent position on the grid over two runs. go. Just look at his battery in comparison to what we saw with Josh. So, still not as high as you would like to be, but he's got double the amount that Josh had at this point of the lap. I see, Brian. Okay. Should start super clipping now and just gaining a bit of battery back. 102.1 through sector 2 from Watson. It's not like a reasonable lap. This looks comfortable. Nothing too dramatic. It's just, I think, trying to get a lap on the board. But at the same time, sometimes when laps look as comfortable as this, as laid back as this, they can end up being quite fast, and that's a 30.3 from Watson, which does put him into 10th and gives him a nice banker now to really go hell for leather on his last run. So Gaza currently on 130.3. Actually sure if we're on a lap here or not, I'll be honest. We're about to find out, because if he boosts out of this corner, we're probably on the lap, and he does. It's a huge amount of battery going on to this and the next straight. Head down then to the final corner. Looks pretty comfortable, but he's opted to back out the lap, come back into the pits. I guess if he'd have crossed the line there, that would have been his last lap. I don't... Well, no, he might have been... No, I think he would have been able to get back round. Who we got? That's Josh, I think, it's on a hot lap. So a huge amount more battery this time round from Josh. Oh, he's just caught the wall on the inside of the chicane, and that's going to ruin the lap, unfortunately. Brian, I think, back onto a lap. 2 temps up through sector 2. So that's putting them in somewhere around P4 as it stands. Cargo Brum, it does indeed find the P's. My centre back. Oh, Mr. Well, not tonight. You're my centre back tonight. Here comes Brian then, 29.7, stays P7. Actually does an identical time to Chris, to the 1000th. So he stays P7, Chris will hold on to P6 because he set the time first. Anybody else on a lap? I think Shawnee Boy's on a lap. He's 3.5 temps up, in fact, through sets of 1. Not seen him yet tonight, so let's give Sean a chance on the stream. Boost, Sean, boost! You heard me. Out the final corner, straight onto the boost then. What's he managed to find? Get over to the left hand side. In a way, 32.3 then. Goes almost half a second quicker, so it doesn't gain in places, but does improve his time considerably. So, Admiral... I don't know, he's not on a lap. I've got a feeling we might see this with a few drivers actually, where they're doing double out laps here for their final run. The opportunity to get a bit more temperature into the tyres as Ozers retires out. Currently he's on P8, so he's done alright. Gregory then is on a lap. Yeah, that's going to abort. I've got a feeling the McLaren ahead of him just... Look, the McLaren did absolutely nothing wrong. He was way ahead, so he's not affecting Gregory's lap as such. But I've got a feeling that the McLaren, it may have just caught his eye. So, who's furthest round? I think Ryan's furthest round, but he's on an out lap. There through sector 1. He's 2 tenths up through the first sector. So potential challenge here from Rich, sorry. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. It was so tight. Just, I assumed you ran out of battery a little bit earlier than what you had done on the previous lap, because you just seemed to lose time in that final sort of run. Oh, Rich just catches the wall on the inside of the left-right chicane, and it's just invalidated the lap for him. Yeah, Admiral's further around, so let's stick with Admiral. It's just over a tenth and a half up through sector 1. Lifting into the left-right chicane. He touched the battery coming out of the left-right chicane rather than caning it. And so, oh, Ryan gets disqualified. Oh wow, huge moment in qualifying as Admiral improves by 3 tenths and goes into P2. Wales gone P3. Chris on his lap, but the big moment in qualifying, Ryan gets disqualified from the session and will start the sprint race from the back. Oh dearie me, and this championship, well, it's a bit early to say it's been thrown back wide open, but surely that's going to have big consequences at a track like this. Is Chris, very nice improvement, but holds on to P5. Oh, didn't quite get a Falco in time. Oh no, there's Falco, sorry. He's invalidated in a way. Who was it then? Somebody else jumped up. Was it Gunnar up to P7? No, it wasn't. I've got no idea. Who was it? James, in a way, looks like he's got pole settled. Karma jumps up to P10 actually, so I think it might have been him. Plimble P9, maybe. I think Plimble might be a bit disappointed with that. So it's going to be James on pole. Let's just go to Falco. As you can see, he's just finishing off. He's out of fuel, so James takes pole then. Admiral P2, well in 3. Rich will start from 4 with Chris in 5. We'll do the whole rundown of the grid on the formation lap as always, but oh wow indeed, Brian. Can't believe it. Can't believe it, Brian. Ryan got disqualified. So 1 second covering the top 11, just over for P12 there. But the whole grid covered by 3.2 seconds. Shawnee at the back there. So Shawnee, Consolidate and Kev, those last few places. So perhaps not as close a qualifying as we're used to on a Tuesday, in all fairness. But to be fair to James, he put in an absolute storming lap there with a 29.1. Sort of midway through the session that really put the pressure on everybody else to try and, that was in that sort of pole position battle, to try and nail a lap, because yeah, returning soon, Peas. Health is improving slowly. That's great to hear, mate. I didn't know you were in poor health, I'll be honest, but that's fantastic news. Glad to hear it. The more I race here, the more I realise how competitive WAOF is. Legit 11 people in the lobby I feel can win a race realistically. Yep, absolutely. doubt. So there will be just a little break now, guys, before they ready up for the sprint. So if you're a driver listening, don't forget, we'll say in the Discord chat what time that will be. It's usually 5 minutes between qualifying and a main race. I think it might be slightly... I'm not sure. Sometimes I see the time they say and I think, how'd you get that? But... well, it's pretty hot on it, to be fair. I definitely have a few minutes at least in the wait. So, don't forget the way we do the sprint races here in WAOF1. They're not your standard sprint. What we do is we set it to a 25% distance race, and you are required to make a pit stop. So, a bit different to a normal sprint race, but that is purely because the strategy side of it just makes the racing better in our opinion. So, by sticking a pit stop in there, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Will it be soft mediums on a 25% distance? I genuinely don't know. Theoretically, the wear is twice as bad as a 50% race, so it shouldn't affect the strategy that much, but I think it does. I think mentally, for the drivers, it's just because mentally it's shorter, and mentally I think they just feel they can use the softs because of the shortness of the race. So let's see what they do. I can definitely see some red out there, so let's have a look. Right then, yeah, look at the rainbow effect on the tyres there. So anyway, let's do the grid rundown first, as we always do. So James starts on pole with Admiral alongside in 2. Wales starts from P3 with Rich alongside in 4. Chris and Brian make up the third row of the grid, while Gunnar for Ferrari starts in 7. Ozers in 8. Plimble starting in 9 with Carmen Reduce rounding out the top 10. Gaza, best of the rest, starts P11. Robin in 12. Gregory from 13. Watson will start 14. Falcao starts in 15 with Josh alongside in 16, while Vati starts in 17th alongside Beastie in 18. Kev and Godzilla make up the 10th row of the grid, and of course the newly formed 11th row of the grid this season. We'll see Shawnee starting at 21, and the disqualified Ryan Eyre starting in P22. Massive moment in the championship. Oh dear, Ryan's just disconnected as well. Watson and Beastie disqualified. Of course I can't get a... oh my word, what am I going to do? Hang on, I'm trying. I should be doing the tyres with you now, but I'm trying to see if I can get Ryan back in. It's going from bad to worse. There he is. Invite sent, Ryan. I imagine you'd have managed to get someone in a party to do that in a way, but just in case. Right, okay, so the top 5 then start on soft tyres. Brian in 6 starts on the mediums. Then Gunnar Roses and Plimble on the softs. Karma and Gaza starting on the mediums in 10 and 11. Robin starts is the highest of the hard starters in P12. Gregory then starts on the softs. Hards for Watson. Softs for Falcao and Josh. Vatsy starts on the mediums. Beastie on the softs in P18. Kev starts mediums, Godzilla on the hards, and the 2 at the back of the race, Shawnee and Ryan, starting on the medium tyre. I see, Peas. Yeah, makes sense. Well, I do hope it gets better soon. Hopefully, the weather's going to change, I think. So, here we go then for the sprint race. I hope that anybody that disconnected has managed to get back in. The lights are on very fast. Out they go. As James leads down to turn 1. Well on the outside. Gets through into P2. Ahead of Admiral. Just looking a bit further down. Does everybody get through? I think they do. So a good start. Now Watson's left the session. What is going on? Get an invite sent as quick as I can. So, let's get the details back up, as I don't know what's going on. So, James leads, Whale P2, Admiral in 3, Rich in 4. So, Whale's up to 1. Plimble's made up 2 places, he's up to P7. Then, a whole list of drivers that made up 3 places. Ryan's already made up 5 from the back, he's up to P17. Let's just move down, there's a tight group here, these 3. This is Rich, Chris and Brian, all following each other. There's an opportunity, I think, maybe for Chris. And Rich sitting on a battery of advantage of around 20%. Brian looking to see if there's anything he can do down to turn 1. That flashing light on the back of Chris's car is going to be like a red rag to a bull for Brian. Brian moves to the inside and through he goes and up to P5. Nice move from Brian. Beastie getting past Karma a bit further down for P15. That's really tight at the front of this group as they head into the awkward, difficult Sector 1. The S's of Sector 1. Hosers and Gregory side by side, and Hosers takes on P9. Just coming back down a bit. Josh, just for a moment, looked like he had a run on Falcao, but I think he's had to back out of it. Really, really tight through the field here. It's hard to know where to look. Admiral's getting very close to Well at the front for P2. Oh, surely, Admiral. Well, that red light not goading Admiral into using any battery. Well, was on none then for a moment. And into the pits as well. So he's making an early stop coming off of these softs. He's not the only one. Chris is in as well. Going to set fastest lap. It's very, very early to make their stops, but surprises me actually. Well, in a way, from P2, perhaps he decided to make that move simply because he had no battery already. So maybe the pit stop's almost a way of him. A mistake from Admiral as he runs wide. He's going to come under attack from Rich and Brian. Oh, it's a horrible camera view. Let's go from Brian's point of view. Yellow flags at the back there. Seems to be following Chris and Watson, actually, those yellow flags. I'm not too sure, but we were watching this. Admiral somehow did manage to hold Rich off. This time Rich goes up the inside of the left-right chicane. Oh, and it's going to give Brian a chance as well around the outside. Is he going to be able to hold it? I think he will. He's got the battery. I think he can attack Rich as well. He's got nothing left. So Rich makes the move into the chicane, but then loses both places as he ran out of battery on the back straight. And both Brian and Admiral. As Admiral heads into the pits, Rich is following him. Oh no! Rich has hit Admiral going into the pits and spun him. Well, that'd be a ticket. I think Admiral recovered it very well. He reacted very quickly to get into the pits over the line as quickly as he could. So I think he's limited the damage as much as he possibly could, but it's definitely hurt him. He exits here. Obviously P19, a massive amount of drivers yet to make those stops. So we're completely... It's a bit strange at the moment. It's going to be one of those races where we don't quite know exactly where we are. This is really going to highlight. Now Brian's got the lead by over 3.5 seconds. But obviously he's got those guys that are just pitted. But Brian started on the mediums, so he's going to be able to go longer in. And I just wonder if he might be able to make this a medium soft race, so that he might be able to come back at those guys that are pitted to hards a bit later on. Bearing in mind that those guys, like James right there, are having to make their way through traffic. So James getting past Shawnee there. So, another highlight, by the way, Whale is ahead of James, having made his stop. So net P1 at the moment in this sprint race is Whale. He's got James chasing him down, and he's come up to traffic himself here, Whale. And probably the worst kind of traffic, because Godzilla and Robin are battling each other for position on track. 2 red lights, you could see Whale go for the double here. Straight through the middle of both of them, he threads the needle. And Whale, weirdly, because the people are in the pits, moved up to P5. Whole host of pit stops. So Whale up to P5, and he will be over the moon, because what he's done is he's put Robin and Godzilla between him and James for the whole of Sector 1. So this is going to give Whale a little bit of breathing space. It's going to be so frustrating for James, but actually tactically brilliant from Whale. James up the inside of Godzilla, so he's got one of them. Robin does have blue battery, he just doesn't have anywhere near as much battery as James does. I think he must have done P's. And straight through goes James without too much hassle. He had a serious battery advantage for that. But what's that done? It's given Whale the opportunity to create a 1.6 second gap. Now, you've got to think James is going to be coming back. I'm just amazed that Whale pitted to mediums. I can't imagine. He pitted lap 2, didn't he? So, was it as early as lap 2? Maybe not lap 2. Lap 3? Lap 4? It's one of them. Lap 3, I think he pitted. That's Karma in from P3, Beastie in from P4. Where will they come out? Admiral sets fastest lap in a race in his attempt to salvage whatever he can from this sprint race. Catching Chris and Godzilla. Well, Chris of course has caught the back of Godzilla, so he's probably just been held up a bit through Sector 1. He's going to look to get him here because Godzilla, battery flashing away. I said earlier on, it's like a red rag to a bull. Through goes Rich on Robin directly ahead of us. Robin actually seems to come off the power a little bit there to let Chris through. Doesn't want to actually battle him. Very kind of Robin. He's aware of the fact he's still got to make a stop, so Admiral then, the inside of Godzilla on the final corner. Because of the way he did that, by just holding off of using any boost. Because of the way he did it, he's held enough battery in order to defend down the pit straight as well. So Robin, as you can see, making that pit stop, drop in right the way down to P21. I've got absolutely no idea what's happened to Gunnar. He's dropped all the way to P19. I do apologise, didn't see anything specific. Here's the battle potentially for the race win. As you can see, James has caught onto the back of Whale again, and as this race wears on, we're just over the halfway stage. As this race wears on, James's hard tires are just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, so you've got to feel that holding on to this race win is a big ask from Whale. but he's in a very strong P2. They do have, by the way, they do have Rich bearing down on them. Well, yeah, I don't think Wells going to be able to defend this. Even if he ends here. Well, look at this. He could end up in a free breath, maybe. Not quite. They seem to think better of it. Gaza might peel into the pits here in a way. No, he doesn't. He's gonna... Oh, yes, he does. Also a late move into the pits. Brian in as well, by the way, and onto the soft sides. You can see him just exiting. So, Brian on his way out has a free entry back to the track, and he is right on the back of Chris, who's in P4. So, complete opposite. Look at the difference. Brian pitted from the lead, comes out in P5. Gaza pitted the same lap, but he's come out in P20. Okay, right on the back of Kev. Wait, Brian will be looking to make the absolute best of these softs while he's got them. It is a bit of a long way to ask the softs to go at any real pace, so it's going to be a case of just do what you can in the early part of the stint, I think. Could try and nurse the tyres a bit, but I think Jeddah takes rather a lot out of the softs in a way, even if you try and nurse them. So I suspect he's just going to be pushing to get whatever he can. So he's going to be trying to get past Chris here and then catch on to the back of Rich so he can get that blue battery. Will he actually overtake here, or will he hold off to get the blue battery? It's such an overspeed. I don't think he's got much in the way of choice, in all fairness. He has to take the position. Leaves him without the blue battery, but as you can see, he's catching quickly onto the back of Rich, who in turn, by the way, is catching the lead group, the lead two. So James has taken the lead of the race. I think, in all fairness, Wales' attention, as much as he would love to win this sprint race, I think his attention needs to turn to holding Rich off. Ah, oh, goodness me, he gets a free second and makes a mistake. Oh, well, makes a mistake. Has he got any damage? No, he's avoided damage. I wonder if that was the frustration of getting the 3 seconds and he just made a little mistake and that allows Rich through. Now, I will say, we did see Rich hit the back of Admiral when they were going into the pits, so there is the potential of a report going in against Rich, so it's not over here for Wales. He still needs to battle this. Obviously, Wales' penalty will be beautiful viewing for Brian. How is Brian going to navigate his way past these two in order to try and chase James down? I think James's hard tyres are probably going to win the day here, if I'm honest with you. So, yellow flag's a bit further down, and I'm pretty sure it's Plimble. I thought it was Kev actually, but it's not. It's Plimble. Oh, goodness me. That all got a bit tight. But Plimble's lost half his front wing, so I think that's going to be a trip back to the pits. This battle for P2 then. Say, Brian somehow has to get past. If he's going to have any chance of catching James at the front with these soft tyres, he's got to get past these two so fast. But the truth is, he may not need to get past these two in order to take P2 in this race. It's just a question mark over Rich's head of whether he was at fault or not, as Watson heads into the pits, picks up 10 seconds. Ozers is also into the pits, so not sure what's happened to Ozers. He qualified P8, so he had a decent qualifying. Hey Apple, sorry, wasn't looking at the stream chat, so only just seen that. Hey, yeah, all good, man. Enjoying a bit of Jeddah. Watching these guys navigate as best they can around, in my opinion, one of the most difficult tracks of the season, but also one of the best tracks of the season. That's coming from a pad player, remember. I absolutely love Jeddah. And through Brian does go. He's looking after his battery well, isn't he? He's keeping just about enough to be able to fight people on the straights, but then, crucially, being able to defend again after. Sensible. So, as I say, there's that question mark hanging over Richard's head as to whether he was at fault for the collision with Admiral going into the pits, but from Brian's perspective, from his point of view, he can't rely on that. He's got to try and get past him. As Rich makes a mistake, don't think Brian's going to be able to find any way past it at this point. Remember, Brian's got the blue battery. He's got the overtake mode. And currently has about a 25 to 30% roughly advantage. So you'd fancy that when they come round, at least to the back straight, probably not here. I don't think Brian will be too keen on making a move here in a way. Rich is, well, he is though. He is. He is, and he is passed before they make the chicane, so no real issues. Similar. Brian's burned down to defend on the back straight. But look, he's 1.7 off of James. There's a chance. I still think it's a long shot here for Brian, but he's got a chance. I just think, I know those softs are only 4 laps old, but Jeddah, 25% distance this race, will absolutely shred soft tyres apart. So I just think that James's hard tyres might be what wins him this race, but let's see. We'll see how that unfolds. Just for now, if we got any other battles further down the field, we've got Falcao up to P8, battling with Ryanair. So Ryanair has managed to get back to the points, by the way. He's running with absolutely no nose on the front of his car, but he is he's got that front wing, but no nose. So he's doing well just to keep on track, in all fairness. But no, in all fairness to Ryan, after being DSQ'd in qualifying and starting from the back, the championship leader has recovered into the points. So at least he's not going away from the sprint with nothing. And who knows, being P9, he might get the luck of the draw on the wheel spin for the reverse order. Pretty much the way this is going to go with the wheel spin. Everybody in the top 10 is hoping for a low number. Everybody outside of the 10 wants the highest number possible. The guys at the front just want the lowest number that can possibly come out, because they don't want to see themselves drop towards the back of the grid for the feature race start. So Gaza gets past Vaddy for P12. He's on the back of Beastie. Brian has got it down to 1.3, but we're on the last lap. So it does look like James is going to hold on to the race win. It's the pole and sprint race win. But it's not been 100% straightforward for James. He's done what he had to do, and he's done it well. And I think that's what's going to win it. That's what's won him the race ultimately. He's kept his head down. Obviously pitting early because he started on the softs meant he had to make his way through the field a little bit with the guys that started on hards and mediums going longer. But he's done that well, and in the end he is going to hold on. But I think Brian going a bit longer, switching to the softs, has worked out really, really well for him. And both had a battery, so you would feel it looks like Brian's just earned a little bit more back in the final quarter than what Rich could. So it's victory then for James and McLaren in the sprint race. Brian takes P2, Rich P3 with a question mark hanging over him, Chris in P4, Well did finish 5 on track, but Admiral is promoted due to Wales 3 seconds. So Admiral P5, Whale P6, Karma comes across with P7, making it a good sprint result for Williams. Falcao in 8, Ryan gets P9 from the back, only missing out on P8 by 57 thousandths. Gregory rounds out the top 10 then. Beastie in 11th, Gaza 12, Gunnar 13, Vati 14, Robin 15, Kev in 16, Josh 17, Godzilla in 18. Ozers will bring it home for P19, although I think he's out of fuel, so he might not bring it home for P19 because... What's on the pinboard chasing? Guys, Ozers is out of fuel! Go, 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 go! So, ironically, Ozers is actually going to get a place back because of Watson's 10 seconds for spinning in the pits. And Shawnee it was who took the P22. No retirements, which is great to see in the sprint race. So, move James to Thursday, says Solo. Yeah, he's certainly quick. Ryan's just as quick. He just got DSQ'd from Wally, which made it. He started at the back. Brian, happy with that? I think you should be, mate. I think that was a very good race. Very good race from you, indeed. That's enough of the podium note for that. What's it giving? Race winner James. Oh, I pressed the button. Sorry, I was going to read through those, but never mind. Let me just make sure we get everybody's penalties as well as the times. So there's that at the bottom. Fastest lap 1:30.560. And any instance, I've just scrolled to the bottom. As you see, actually, for Jeddah, it's almost all exceeded track limits, etc. But it's not a great deal. I know it's only 25% distance, that one, but not a great deal. So now comes the moment. Yeah, Rich, well, I can only see what I see on the screen. I mean, it just looked like you hit the back of Admiral going into the pits, but I don't know exactly what happened. So I think that would be my first fault, but I can't be sure. Game just crashed, perfect time. Well, it is perfect timing because we needed to do a restart in a way because of the... well, not a restart as such. They could have just stayed in the lobby. But I think I don't know, they might do a restart. I don't know, because of course the lobby host did disconnect. So let me just go to the Tuesday chat. Tuesday announcements. The wheel spin is P12. P12. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, so what's going to happen? The results from the sprint. So what we do is we reverse it. So last year, as I said, we just reversed the top 10. What we found is that when drivers weren't doing so well in the sprint, they deliberately try and finish 10th to try and get pole position, or 9th to get second, etc., etc. So what we did instead is we changed it to a mystery one by doing a wheel spin, so they didn't know what position we would reverse from. The wheel spin's been done. It is P12. So the person who finished P12, I can't tell you who that was off the top of my head. My memory ain't that good. But whoever finished P12 will start on pole. P11 will start P2. P10 will start P3. All the way down. Unfortunately for those below 12, so P13 downwards will start where they finished. Okay, so that's just explaining that. And now I've explained that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, guys, because we got the 50% race coming up. And obviously I've already been on for a little while, so about an hour. So I'm just going to take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. Oh, bloody. I'm back with you guys. My bloody Discord's been a bit weird on me. Right, okay. So, yeah, reminder. So, P12 is the one that's going to be on poll. Just start a new party. It's kicked me out the other one, as it always does after an hour. Okay. Right, so... Oh, but this takes away from what I do on the formation there, but I don't like doing it like this. But we will do it like this. So, Gaza it is. I thought it was Gaza that finished in P12, but I wasn't going to put my life online about it. So, Gaza is that gets pole position. Beastie starts in P2. Gregory in 3. The irony of Ryan having a poor sprint in comparison to James is that he starts in P4. Falcao starts in 5. Karma starts in 6. Wales 7. Admiral 8. Chris then starts in 9 with Rich in 10. Brian starts in 11. And James will start in P12. Unluckily for Gunnar, Vati, Robin, Kev, Josh, Kazilla, Plimble, Ozers, Shawnee, they all started. They all finished outside the top 12, so they will start, but from where they finished. The sprint, we appear to be a driver light. I've only got 21 drivers. We had 22. Sorry guys, they're just obviously having the usual little bit of time to put their setups on. So, looks like the formation lap's starting. Right, okay. Here we go then. Right, well that's a lot different, isn't it, to the sprint race. So no softs in sight at all. Only one driver deciding to start on the hard tyre, and that's Brian in P11. Everybody else is starting on the mediums. The driver, unfortunately, that isn't with us is Watson, who unfortunately disconnected as the game loaded in. And they have made a decision not to restart for one person. So, Watson, if you can hear me, I'm so sorry about that. I hate that sort of stuff. Personally, I'd have called a restart, but it's not my call. It's not my call tonight. But there we have it. I would say, the reason I would have called a restart isn't purely because Watson's disconnected when he did. That's not the reason I called a restart. I called a restart because that's happened, but also the lobby host disconnected in the previous. Although saying that it's a different lobby, so it's a different host. It's not. So actually, that's not really relevant. So actually, I guess no. I guess the call not to restart is correct, and it is in line with the league's rules. So yeah, no, I'd take it back. I think it's probably the right call. Anyway, they've all made it round. I know it's got in for Watson. It's bound to be. Look what this has led to, though. Alpine start 1P, 1P3. So Alpine in a strong starting position. 5 lights are on. Out they go, and we are off for the Jeddah Grand Prix here in Saudi Arabia. Grid spreads out. The Haas comes through and takes P2. Who was that? That's Beastie. And I think there was some contact further back. Josh is dropping down. Everybody's still on the lead group, so nobody's absolutely fully dropped back. But there are some drivers plummeting down the order. So Gaza leads already 1.4 seconds ahead of Beastie. Beastie under pressure already from Ryan, who's already up to P3. Ryan on the inside of the long lingering left-hander. Beastie looked like he was a little wide on exit, and that's allowed Brian to sneak up the inside, so already into P2 for the championship leader. Could this evening actually turn around to be a fantastic night for our championship leader in terms of purely of the championship. Beastie holding on to him at the moment. A whole load of cars following up. Gregory really on the back of Beastie. He's making a move around the outside as they come to the final corner. Here they go. And Beastie holds his line and holds position strongly. Very, very good defence that from Beastie. It's a very good solid move from Gregory, but Beastie just held his line. Said, look, if you're going to do it, then you're going to do it. You know, you're going to earn it, sort of thing. Gregory couldn't quite hold on to it. Come under a bit of pressure himself after, but holds his position as well. As Whale gets ahead of Falcao going into turn 4. James at the moment, only P11. Position changes. He's up 1 for the race. He'll be wanting to make quicker progress than that. The problem for James, of course, is that the guys that are directly ahead of him on track are the guys that finish just behind him in the sprint, so they're not easy to get past. Here he is, though, getting past Admiral for P10. That's the problem he's having. He's got fast drivers directly ahead of him right now. Oh, Rich catches the wall. That could leave him vulnerable. He was flashing as well, which Yeah, this flashing red light's going to be the old red rag to the bull thing again. James alongside, and does actually get this full car length in front going into the left-right chicane. So James up to P9. He's after Chris next. Has he got enough battery to actually defend here from Rich? James is out, but Rich has stopped boosting. What a let-off for James. Rich up the inside of Beastie, takes P8. Oh, Beastie got 3 seconds in turn 1 there. If he felt he didn't have to... Oh, he's just run wide there, though, as well. So I would imagine he got another warning. So I was going to say the potential of a removal if he felt he didn't have the room to stay on track. But assuming he got another warning there, that probably removes that possibility. He's now under attack from Gunnar. So Gunnar now back into the top 10 and onto the back of James. That's what I mean for here for James. Look, Ryan's going after the race lead currently. He's within the 1 second of Gaza. Oh, and that's Falcao in the wall. Falcao's in the wall. I assume. She couldn't tell if there was damage there or not. I don't think there is. It's not. No, none of the end plates are missing. Incredibly, he's not picked up any damage. And I do mean incredibly, because the way he hit that wall, you'd have thought half his wing would be hanging off at least. So, and let me tell you, Gaza may have finished 12th in a sprint. Gaza is no slouch. He's not going to make this easy for Ryan. Gaza I've raced for many years in ARC, and he has won many races. He's won championships. He is not a slow driver by any stretch of the imagination. So this Gaza is in the fight for a race win here in WAOF1. There's no doubt about that. The other awesome thing, look at Karma holding on to P3 at the moment. Superb. A race winner, of course, from this. Sorry, not a race winner. Our second place from the sprint was Brian. He's currently P12. So something definitely happened at the start. So I just wonder if Brian might have been involved in that. As Whale makes his move past Gregory. What's wrong with Gregory here? Use his battery, I don't think. And he's lost places to Well, Chris and Rich. Sorry, somebody disconnected. It wasn't Gregory. Who was it that disconnected? I'm trying to work it out. Ryan gets the leader. Oh, it was Gregory. Okay, sorry, it was that. That explains that. Then that's why he's lost those places. Because the AI does seem a bit scared of using their battery. So my bad on that. So Ryan then, as I say, has taken the lead off of Gaza. Where have we got a battle? We've got Rich following closely. To the back of Chris. For any opportunity that may arise. One thing we are going to see here, or we are going to find here, is the drivers haven't had the sprint race. They're going to be much more adept and used to using the battery throughout this main feature race, and where to use it, how much to use, how to battle. As Brian gets past Gregory, and Karma got past Gaza for P2. But he depleted too much battery. Gazza's coming back at him, but he's run out as well. Gazza on the outside. Very much like we saw with Beastie earlier on when he defended his position. Karma looking to do the same. Are they both going to deplete? Could Rich come into this? Sorry, Chris come into this. Chris does come into this. He's on the outside. We're free. A breath at turn 1. Oh, there's a bit of argy-bargy between Karma and Gaza. Godzilla picks up 10 seconds for a severe contact with Gregory, who's out of the race. Oh, hello. What's going on here then? We're all lining up for the pits apparently. Falcao teleported back onto track. Oh, something very weird's going on in the pits. No, Falcao is in the pits. Something really bloody weird's happening. Something very, very weird's happening. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. It's... So I'm trying to work out what's happening. So Falcao's been given a 10-second penalty for his contact with Sean. But there was all sorts of glitching going on while they were in the pits. And for one moment it looked like it teleported Falcao back out of the pits. Then all of a sudden he was back in there. They were in the pits. They can't have made contact. So I think Falcao has gotten an unfair penalty there. I'm taking a bit of a guess here, guys, because I don't really know what happened. So Admiral gets a 10-second penalty, severe collision with Whale. Wow. There's all sorts going on. If anybody watching's got a clue what's going on, let me know, because I ain't. What I do know, though, obviously the full safety car is out, which is why we're seeing everybody diving into the pits. Brian's onto the mediums. Obviously, he started on the hards, so that is going to be one hell of a long stint for Brian. Could be a real knackerer to his race. I'll be honest, Brian is going to be absolutely hoping for another safety car later in this race, because I think he can get the mediums to the end from here, but they're going to be in so much pain later in the race. So much like with his sauce at the end of the sprint, it's going to be a case of use them, make up some places if you can against the hard boys, and then try and hold them off later on. But truth be told, it's going to be a long second stint here for Brian on those mediums. Falcao's back into the pits. He's getting rid of his 10 seconds, but of course that means he's now onto mediums. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him pit again the next lap. He's just got to be a little bit careful about the length of time this safety car will stay out. He does... His best bet here actually is to just belt it round. On the, unless he's on a set of tyres that he feels he can get to the end of the race on. His best bet here is to belt it round as quick as he can, pit again and get back to the other tyres that he wanted to go to. Then he's got a chance then with the field bunched up to make his way back and get some points back, perhaps. So somehow in amongst all that, Wales dropped to P11, and yet Admiral's got a 10-second penalty for hitting Whale, even though there's what, 1, 2, 3 cars in between them. I genuinely have got no idea what's going on with these penalties. If it is an unfair penalty, as our rules go in WAOF1 right now, I do believe Admiral can get this removed. As long as there's no further safety cars. I believe we have changed the rules, and we've not actually had to use them yet. But with the new guidance on the rules, I think that he can get this removed. So, as I suggested, Falco's done exactly as I suggested. He's gone back round, pitted back to the hard sides that he should be on. Now, the only thing I'm a bit worried about for Falco here is I don't know if this safety car will do another lap. So he may need to actually absolutely fly around here. I'm just not sure. It doesn't help that my little Twitch recording signal thing in the top left corner of my screen covers what lap we're on, so I actually don't know what lap we're on right now. I can look at the stream actually, because that will tell me. We're on lap 8 apparently. Why does it feel like we're further in than lap 8? It definitely feels like we're further in. Right. Who's standing out at the moment in terms of position gains? Obviously the guys at the top, the fast guys that have made their way quite a bit of field, are bound to be standing out. Plimbull from 19th to 10th, definitely a standout. Somehow Vatty got past Sean. Did he? Or did Sean go past Vatty and then... Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we are restarting, so Falco really needs to get a move on as much as he can before Ryan goes, but that's going to be now. Ryan goes now. Has anybody got a run? Has anybody got a run? Well, James is late braking to go round the outside of Rich. He's caught Rich off guard with that one. Round the outside, and through James goes and up to P4. Gooner gets... He's having to defend actually now from Plimbull. And Plimbull ends up with P9. Brian on the back of Rich. Just go back to those tyres. So everybody's on the hard tyres except for Brian. So we can expect him to be a little bit quick over these first few laps. His mediums will generate... Oh god, what a horrible angle that was. So anyway, he's got past Rich into P5. His mediums will generate heat much better than the hards. So in this initial phase, he could have a genuine chance to make up a few positions here. Possible chance here for Chris. He looks to the inside of Gaza. Wasn't actually any space there in the end. He thought about it, but I think he realised his right front would have hit the back of the rear left of Gaza's car, so it's just backed off. And here comes James. James is arriving. He's marauding, but he's gone very deep. Gaza actually completely outbrakes himself into turn 1. I don't know where he saw James in his mirror and kind of scared him into going deep. But actually James did make the inside of the corner. So James is up to P2, and now we've got a championship battle for the win. All of a sudden, Ryan's mirrors are full of McLaren from nowhere. His Karma picks up 3 seconds. That safety car has really done a number on Karma, hasn't it? He was doing so well pre-safety car. Admiral around the outside, and he is going to get past. So Admiral up to P7. Following Gaza, but Brian then on the back of Chris, but Chris is also on the back of James. Chris just goes a little bit wide through the chicane. It wasn't horrendous, but he went a little bit wide, and now he starts flashing. And he's going past James. James has got nothing to defend. side by side out of the final corner. Is Brian going to get a chance at both of them here? Because he's got a surplus of battery. Oh, don't stop burning. Don't stop burning. Why is he stop burning? It didn't matter. He got them both in a way. So Brian gets both of them. It's up to P2 in this race. Oh, but Chris is coming back at him. And Chris is up the inside in the lead up to 4. What a battle we got going on for P2. Ryan will be over the moon with this because it's allowing him to build a gap. 1.6 now, the lead. Brian would definitely have thought, he would not have been expecting Chris to come back at him in the lead up to 4. That would have definitely caught him off guard. Look, Ryan's built his battery back up nice though. You've got to feel he's going to get a chance to come back at Chris come the end of this lap. Chris isn't bad on battery, mind. There's about a 10% difference. James is on about the same as Brian, so they've actually caught back into the 1 second of Ryan. Ryan seems a bit slow. I'm not going to be on it. I don't mean that Astley. He's a perfectly fast driver, obviously, but he just seems a bit slow at the moment. These guys are catching him like there's no tomorrow. As Chris's light starts flashing, Brian trying to get alongside on the outside of turn 1. Chris doesn't actually look to defend it very strongly. I think James come under a bit of pressure from Rich up as well into turn 1, but does hold the position. Admiral drops down a bit. Oh, goodness me. Absolute flurry of cars. Trying to go into 4. Alongside each other. Tiny bit of contact there between Plimble and Karma. But I think that was within fairness. And Plimble is still in P9. So I look at him, he seems to gain a place, but he's still in P9. It's quite incredible. Look at the string of cars all stuck together with Gaza leading this group. James momentarily lost out to Rich there, but alongside as we head towards the right left chicane. And Rich wins out in the end on that one. So Rich P4 and has a significant battery advantage over James at the moment. Yellow flags are out. It's a white car and it is a Cadillac of Kev. Gets himself back going. First look, I don't think there's any damage. No, I think both end plates are there, so I think he's okay. Just a final look there. Yeah, they do seem to be okay. Back to the front then. And Brian back past Chris and right on the back of Ryan. Really surprised that Ryan got pulled back in so easily by this group. They weren't working together, this group. They were battling, trying to get ahead of each other, and they all wanted to be at the front of the group, and yet they still managed to pull Ryan back in. Got a good view there, and I couldn't see any sort of signs of damage on Ryan's car, so it's not that. These two have actually broken away now from the battle for P3. Okay, only momentarily. They're all coming back at them again. Brian's definitely going to smell a chance here to take the lead of the race. There's just a massive, massive question mark over whether his mediums are... I don't think it's a question mark over whether they can make it to the end of the race. I think they definitely can. But just how much pace are they going to lose as we reach the latter stages of the race? Yeah, I think this is a slam dunk here. I can't see how Ryan could possibly defend that position. He's also going to get Chris trying to get alongside. Just closes the door a bit on Chris. Just to hold position. Perfectly fair. Head down, there is yellow flags. Oh my goodness me, what's going down? What's going on down at the final corner? It's Josh and Gaza that are around. Oh! Kev just clattered Gaza. Admiral and Robin are into the pits, so were they caught up in it as well? Yeah, it's the front wing. Admiral's now serving that 10 seconds, which now means he cannot get it removed. And it's a front wing, so I'm not entirely sure exactly what's happened. Obviously, we've seen Gaz and Josh both round, so whether they've come together and spun, or whether it was something that happened ahead of them that then made them spin, I don't know. But what I do know is that I think 5 cars in total have been caught up in that, because I think Kev's missing his left end plate. I couldn't see that. Oh no, it's there. So actually, I think Kev's okay. I thought he clattered. I honestly thought he clattered Gaza and lost his end plate, but obviously not. Brian back under attack from Ryan now. It's the Brian and Ryan show at the front, with guest appearances from Chris, Rich and James. Here we go. Ryan has the inside and will have the lead going into the slow S's here at Jeddah. But, right now, you've got to say none of them got penalties, so all 5 of these drivers can potentially win this race at this point of the Grand Prix. Here comes James. He's on the outside. Almost gets outside of Rich. Does actually get slightly alongside during the corner, but obviously going a longer way around, couldn't hold it. James will know he needs to. He does need to make up at least a couple of places here to take full advantage of that sprint win. If Ryan wins this race with James in P5 overall, Ryan will come off the better across the whole night. Karma gets past Gunnar for P6. Karma's still P6. Okay, he's got a penalty, but here comes Chris to take the lead of the race. It's not the Brian and Ryan show anymore. It's the Chris show, and everybody else is watching. Chris leads Jeddah as we enter lap 16, and he will hold it down to turn 1. Rich is around the outside of Ryan, but that's better for James, because now his championship rival is the car directly ahead of him. Ozers gets past Plimble a bit further down. So Ozers up to P9 now. There was another overtake as well. It might have been Falcao getting past Fatty, I'm not sure. Just going by based on the fact that they're so close together here. Admiral sets fastest lap of the race with his new medium boots on. A chance for James. Just seemed to get a better exit than Ryan there, but in the end couldn't get alongside to make the move. But he's heading onto the back straight with a 30% battery advantage, and James will get ahead of Ryan. It's significant for the championship. So James will now love to put a car between him and Ryan. There's a little scrape on the barrier there. As Brian retakes the lead of this race. So at the moment, Brian's mediums are holding on well enough at the moment, but we do still have 9 laps remaining, including this one. Sorts of movement going on ahead of Ryan there, and he just seems to look to take a little bit of avoiding action actually momentarily. Beastie's in for a stop. I just want to go down and see if that's a wing change, because I don't think it is. Oh, it is. Okay, yeah, he's got a left end plate missing. So he's opted. He'd rather get a new wing. It's not a nice track to be missing any part of your wing on. Let's be honest. High speed, fast corners. It's definitely a track where you lose an end plate. Even just an end plate, it's going to affect you around the whole lap. So. Time round, it looks to me like Brian's going to be able to hold Chris off here. Brian's actually the one with the overtake mode, so Brian goes sideways into the final corner, just loses the rear a bit, but and oversteers, but did hold it. It's going to be a tight one, but I think Brian's just going to fall in behind Chris. He's happy at the moment not to battle that too hard. So close, these 5 for the race win. Well, for the podium spaces, none of them can afford a mistake. If they pick up 3 seconds, they're out of the battle. Just have to be so careful, but while driving quick enough to hold on to the group. Well, behind, there's another battle going on for P6 at the moment. Gunnar's leading that race. Well, Karma's leading it on track, but of course has the 3 seconds, so effectively Gunnar's leading that race, but he's under all sorts of pressure from Whale. So Gunnar in a Williams sandwich at the moment. Gunnar is the very red filling in that Williams sandwich. We just had a yellow flag, and unfortunately it's Kev. Again, though, doesn't appear to be any damage, so just a few blushes maybe, but he's okay. And now Whale gets out of Gunnar, so Whale up to P7. Now will Karma look to release his teammate? Not right now. He's too... Oh, Gunnar ducks into the pits. Gunnar's into the pits. Whoa. That's a shock. Yellow flag's out. And that's one of our leaders. That's Rich. Oh, that's Rich. And I think Well's gone straight into him. Or was it Karma? I've got absolutely no idea. Rich was spun round at turn 2, and I think in his defence, I think he was on the racing line, so I don't think he's not spun round onto the racing line. I think he was already there, so I think any moves from him might have been to try and get it. I think it was Karma that's hit him because he's just easily lost the place to Ozers. I can't see any signs of damage on Karma's car. Just look at Wales. No, can't see. I mean, somebody hit him. It must have been one of the Williams, but there's no signs of damage. But Karma's almost just moved over and allowed Ozers through like he is suffering some sort of damage. So James gets past Brian. Is that our sign that Brian's tyres are starting to die on him? If he's gonna have to stop, he needs to make the decision now, because the earlier he makes that decision, the more chance he's got of gaining a few places back. But he's happy to carry on at the moment. We're on lap 20. I'm just shocked at seeing Gunnar pit off of the hards from where he was. Very strange decision. We've got a couple more putters. Plimbo and Rich are both in. Rich, presumably, yeah, it's a new front wing, so Rich did get damaged from whatever happened. Typical that something happens in that top 5 when I wasn't looking. Falcar's round in the S's. He's going to get back round and going again before anyone else catches him. That did allow Godzilla through into P9. What a race Godzilla's having, by the way. Keeping himself out of trouble, keeping it clean, keeping himself penalty free. Just driving around, completing his laps. Other people making mistakes. He's gaining in places and he's having a superb race. Looks like James is making a move. So James around the outside of Ryanair on the lead up to the final corner. Oh, hits the wall again. He's definitely left some paint on that wall throughout this race. Is Ryan going to come back at him? He does. So Ryan ends up back in P2 for turn 1. People getting past Falco for P10 a bit further down, but our attentions now pretty much have to remain on this. Just to know that Karma has gotten back past Ozers and has caught right up to the back of Whale. Oh, there's some more action going on down at the final corner. Oh, goodness me. Admiral was round in the final corner, and I think Vatty's just come round, seen him, taken avoiding action and smacked the wall and lost his right front wing, right end plate. Admiral's not got out of it unscathed. He's lost his right end plate as well. That's final corner. Seen some action tonight. He then picks up 3 seconds, Vatty, while he's adjusting to the steering, I guess, with a missing end plate. So we still have this battle for the race win. It was 5 cars, it's now 4, and it's 4 laps remaining, and this is going to go down to the wire. Chris has looked extremely calm and collected, and is really driving the front of this pack really, really well. Touch wood, obviously, as I say that. Don't want to curse anyone else. I wonder if Karma catching the back of Whale. I wonder if Whale's actually slowed to try and aid his teammate in pulling away from Ozers to create a 3-second gap if he can. 5-6 from Williams tonight, if they could create that gap to Ozers, would be a superb result. They had a good result in the sprint as well. I think it was very similar, 5 and 6, 6 and 7, something like that. So overall, points haul tonight would be superb. I think Sean... No, it's not Sean. Oh, it's Falco. He's out. Falco's out. I think it's a VSC. He's in the wall, coming out of the S's. No, it's turned into a full safety car. I think initially it gave a VSC, but it's turned it to a full safety car. I think the VSC initially came out because he was in the wall, but he was off the racing line. But with it being Jeddah, there's no obvious way for the marshals to get that car off the track. I am fully aware it's not actually marshals doing that, but well, just wonder if Brian's actually over the moon about this. He can get rid of these mediums, put some softs on, and fully battle these guys now. Wales over the moon because he's going to catch them. His teammate's not over the moon because he's double stacked and dropped behind Ozers and still has that 3 seconds. I will remind though, it's lap 23. The safety car is going to be coming in very sharpish. So drivers further down, they need to actually think about that. People driving into the pits now may not have enough time to catch this safety car. Batty staying out despite damage could actually be a really good decision. he's up to P11. There's going to be some drivers behind him that will catch the safety car, but I do feel that the guys that are in the pits now may struggle to catch this safety car. In fact, I don't think it's a case of May. I don't think they got a chance of catching this safety car. So Rich, Admiral, Sean, I don't think are going to be able to catch it. Beastie, I think even for the likes of Beastie, Plimble, it's Kevin, Josh, they're gonna have to really push. I think they will catch, because as the pack slows down at the end to allow the safety car to drive off and back to the pits, I think that will allow these guys to catch. But I don't blame Vatty for that. But he's also going to find himself out, because he is only on 5-lap fresher tire, 5-lap tires. It's not as if they're seriously boring. But he does have wing plate damage, end plate damage. Sorry. So Brandon Schumacher and Whale win. Probably a big ass from P6. To be fair, Doggers. But he's definitely got a much bigger chance than he had before the safety car. So, to the front then, and off goes Chris. Ryan's really caught him. Ryan has really, really caught him. And Ryan is going to take the lead of this race. Oh, James has dived it. That's a massive dive from James. That's not good. Chris does hold the position, and it's given Brian a chance to attack James down into 4. Couldn't quite do it. James runs wide. He must have got a warning for that. Gunnar, P5. He stayed out. Getting the positions instead. Whale makes the move, and he goes through. And his teammate Karma's going to look to go as well, but he's going to be sort of boxed in by Whale. But he does get through. Now O's is looking to go through as well. It looks like these 5-lap mediums. Oh no, there's contact between Gunnar and Ozers. They both smack the wall. Ozers then runs off track at the chicane. That would need a VAR decision to decide who was at fault for that. But it didn't look like much. It's caused quite a big collision in the end. In terms of damaging the two drivers' races. Well, Ozers smacked the wall a lot harder than I realised he had, because his whole wing's missing. Gunnar's doesn't look like he's very much better either. Well, he's got half his wing, so it's half as good, I guess. In a way, we must go to the front of the group, guys, rather than the antics that are going on further down. So Ryan is in the lead going on to the last lap. Chris occupies P2, James in 3, Brian 4, Karma is in 5th with his teammate Whale behind him. As Rich sets fastest lap, Ozers did decide to make... Well, he had to pit, and he had no wing at all. Karma picks up... Oh no, Karma picks up another 3 seconds. Well, that is going to drop him down now behind the likes of Robin and Godzilla. I think he's safe from Vatty, because Vatty's got 3 seconds himself. Oh, Karma. Such a great race. Oh, James is attacking Chris through the chicane. Who's got the battery? They've all basically got the identical amount of battery. Gunnar picks up 3 seconds. James actually gives Ryan a little nudge into the final corner. Is anybody going to gain anything through the line? It's going to be a win for Ryanair at Jeddah. James takes P2, Chris P3, Brian P4, Whale P5, Gaza in 6. Karma drops to P7. Yep, he does hold on to P7. So still a very good result for Williams tonight. P8 for Plimble. Godzilla, superb P9 from Godzilla tonight. Absolutely brilliant from him tonight. Robin takes P10. Vatty hold on to that P11. What a decision from Vati to stay out and take P11 there. Josh takes P12, Kev in 13, Gooner 14 in the end, Beastie 15, Rich 16, Ozer 17, Admiral comes along in 18, and it will be Shawnee Boy bringing up the rear, as he so loves to do, taking P19 with 2 retirements in the race. Oh, almost had him absolutely say that. My previous worries were wrong. Better be driver of the day for 17. Well, let me take a look first, Brian, because I think there's about 6 potential driver of the days tonight. So let me just take a look. So driver of the day potential tonight. James took pole, won the sprint race, finished P2 from P12 on the grid, but did clatter Chris up rather into turn 1 late on in the race there. Wells had a solid evening. Obviously Brian, I'm looking at Godzilla as well, you know. I think Godzilla was absolutely superb tonight. Sorry, let me just make sure I get all the details before we worry any more about that. Do you know what? I don't want to be showing favourites, but I'm going to give in. I think Brian is my driver of the day tonight. And I will give the reasons why. The reasons why are because his strategy in the sprint was absolutely superb. Go on the mediums, go long on the mediums, switch to softs to take advantage of the soft tyre against the guys that had switched to hards early on. I think that got him the best result he possibly could in the sprint. And then in the race there, was so unlucky with the timing in the early safety car. Meant he had to switch from hards to mediums to do a hell of a long stint to get to the end of the race. Obviously a late safety car came out and everybody switched to softs, but I think he was also involved in an instance, not his fault, he was just caught up in something at the start that drops into P17 and makes his way back up to P4. I think overall across the 2 races, I think it's actually a fully deserved driver of the day. But I do want to give a gigantic shout out to Godzilla for the main race tonight, because he drove an absolutely super race tonight. If it was just purely based on the main race, Godzilla would be driver of the day. But because I'm basing it across the 2 races, Brian's getting a shout tonight. But yeah. Overall, guys, I rather enjoyed that tonight. There was superb racing. There was incidents at Jeddah. Shock. You know, it wouldn't be a Jeddah race without incidents. But overall, I thought it was fantastic. We saw some outstanding side-by-side action throughout both races. So overall, it was brilliant. Was there a few knocks and things? Yeah, of course there were. It's Jeddah. There's bound to be a few things happen here and there. Unfortunately, some people came off a lot worse than others. It's the nature of Jeddah and the fact that we are racing our best as amateurs on a computer game and not real life. So ultimately I thought everybody did very well tonight. There we go. I don't want to yap on too much, so overall well done to all the drivers. Thanks as always to everybody that has watched along with me. Thanks to those that make the comments as well, because that just keeps me a little bit entertained throughout, especially when I'm on my own, because Carsey couldn't make it tonight. He's down the pub with Mamo instead. Apparently Mamo gets special treatment over me, which I'll be having words with Carsey about that. Don't you worry about that. Right, hopefully you'll be back next week though. Well, we will see you for round 7 of the season. It's going to be a cracker, so I can't remember what the track is off the top of my head. Brian did tell me earlier on when he was moaning about the list of tracks. Hang on, Jeddah. Oh, Silverstone. So yeah, Silverstone is always an awesome race, guys, so come and join us for that, because it will be absolutely superb, I guarantee you. Otherwise, good night, God bless, and I will see you again soon.